gonna go ahead and get started with our meeting here. I see we have a couple of additional items on the agenda, and we'll deal with those items once we get to them. I'm gonna ask Supervisor Williams, if you don't mind, open us up with a prayer.
Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we come again, making humble before you. We come thanking you for all of the goodness that you provide for us. Thank you for life, the opportunity to live it. We thank you, Father God, for the opportunity to serve a great county like OktBoard County. We pray that you'll give us the wisdom, give us the know-how to be able to serve well. We pray, Heavenly Father, for each and every one of these board members and their families too as well. We pray for those individuals who fight for our freedom abroad and those that leave their families behind. So we pray for them as well as their families also. We pray for those individuals, Heavenly Father, who had family members who lose their life in senseless killing. We pray, oh Father, that somehow that those individuals will have that kind of motivation, will have a greater sense of love and compassion for human and mankind. So our prayer, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Supervisor Williams. At this time, we're going to go walk through our agenda. The first item on our agenda is citizen comment period. Are there any citizens here that would like to approach the board? Good evening, Ms. Rogers. You can come on forward. How are you this evening?
I'm great.
Good.
So I want to say thank you all for this opportunity. I'm going to continue to do because I have brought my weapon with me. I know y'all don't want to hear me say it. I'm Betty Rogers, the Lord of our Savior, Lord Jesus Christ, and Sister Lord Bishop. The system has failed me very much. I've been enabled and trained to supervise, Board of Supervisors, Administrators, the Health Department, Public Service Commission, State Department, Waste, Water, and Soil Conservation. I've been talking about the vision now, and I can say that I'm at peace now, and walking in faith with the Lord, because He has dealt with me to not have any hurt, whatever, any disagreement among you all. When I asked some people about it, they said, I know how you feel. If you've never been there, you don't know how I feel. If you've never been rich, you don't know how I feel to be rich. If you've never been poor, so nobody knows really how I feel. So I need to say that. I'm walking in faith. I trust Him. I commit Him. I rest on Him. I believe in His word, and it's true. And I follow His word here. If we look in Galatians 3, that there's no man to justify by law in the sight of God. It is evident that just is not in me, is in faith. I have faith that I'm probably going to be done. I don't know how I can equip, but it's going to be. And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth make them, they live by them. They make the law, they live by them. So that's why I just have faith. In Galatians 6, it says, therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth. I don't know what I'm going to end with, I am telling you the truth. Do not deceive, God is not marked, but whatever a man soweth, that's what he's going to reap. I have the Spirit, I have love, I have joy, I'm gentle, I'm at peace, and this has been long suffering for 7 years. So God said that. It is a message of grace that calls for faith. The law does not produce faith, but word curse on which Christ has redeemed. Have on the whole armor. I know I'm here to preach. I preach the truth, I'm at peace, and the Bible does not lie. Christ come to wait unto all of us. When we, through the Spirit, we wait for hope, and that's what I'm doing. I'm hoping that God will serve that. And this is His prayer. Psalm 35. It's a prayer for rescue from those who misuse your enemy. And I ask God, please, and I encourage please my cause, oh Lord, with them that strive against me, fight against those who fight against me. Take hold of the shield and buckle and stand up for my, thank you for my help. I ask him to deliver my soul from lying lips and deceitful tongue. What shall be given unto thee, or what shall be done to you?
Ms. Rod,
Yes, I'm through. I understand my 3 minutes, Mr. Train, I appreciate that. Now, you only do that to me. I've been here many times. Other people do talk. They talk over 3 minutes, and you never do. So what I'm saying to you, I appreciate it, and I'm gonna abide by your law, and thank you. And this is my weapon. I've been for 7 years, and nothing has been done. So now this is what I read, and it came to me one night when I wrote that. So I'm not asking you all anything about that this didn't work. If you want to do something, it's fine. I asked Ms. Emily to put me on. I want to talk about the internet. I can get internet out here. So I'm hoping next meeting y'all have, she will put me on the internet, because I do want to, because that box is sinking in the ground. So this is another, yeah, I'm through with this now. I'm through with the ditch.
well, we thank you for coming to
I
3 minutes.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you listening. But you being unfair to me, because other people get up here and talk more than 3 minutes, and I'm here, it's not what I hear, it's what I know, because I be here and I know this, I look at the part too. But when I get ready to start talking fast, then you'll cut me off, and I appreciate it. Y'all have a blessed night.
Thank you, ma'am, for coming. We appreciate you coming.
That's fine, what I said, if you got in the Bible, his word is true. So just promise that he promised he's gonna do it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.
Is there anyone else here that would like to approach the board for 3 minutes, you may do so at this time? Good evening, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, fellow board members, Supervisor Joe Williams, Supervisor District 5, which I reside in. I want to say congratulations to all the winners for the past election. Remember, it's still a long fight till November the 5th. For the ones who still got to run, you need to get out there and beat doors and everything else. People just ain't gonna go to polls and pick your name. You need to go out there. But I think it's only you, Supervisor William and Supervisor Trainer don't have an opponent, right?
Well, I have.
He's got one though.
Oh, you do have one in November.
Everybody except.
It says Supervisor Trainer. Well, congratulations now, Supervisor Trainer. I take that back. But rest of you got a long road to go. Remember, November the 5th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Is there anyone else that would like to approach the board for 3 minutes? You may come forward and do so.
Did y'all know that they're gonna use paper ballots for absentee voting during just during the runoff? Didn't know if y'all knew that, since he was talking about elections. But only for, when you come in, if it's an affidavit or absentee, otherwise we'll use the computer. They just decided that today.
Mr. Clay, I saw your hand go up. I think they got you on the agenda, later on for agreement. If you wanna wait till that time, that'd be good, probably a good time. So you just discuss your matter. Is anyone else? All right, we'll move right along. Mr. Keys, Ms. Sam Keys, bond resolution 2019.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to see you all. Congratulations, as former speakers mentioned. This is the next step in the refunding of the hospital bonds. I'm not gonna belabor all the details of that. I know Lynn Norris has been meeting with Emily M. I think he's also given you all an update. Everything's still looking real good from that going forward. What you'll have before you today is what we call the bond resolution, which includes the offering document, the preliminary fiscal statement, the bond purchase agreement, and all the stuff, so we can officially get it out in the market. And that's the action that I would recommend that you take. Lynn was not able to be here today for the conflict in the South Mississippi. The proposed schedule is as soon as you act on the bond resolution tonight, as it will send the documentation off to the rating agency here in the next few days, so that process can get underway. We don't anticipate any issues there. With the goal toward starting the validation process, and I'll be working with Rob on that to make sure we get all that done. And anticipation of pricing within the next 2 or 3 weeks, and assuming that the interest rates are still good and we're able to lock that in place with the savings that Lynn has been talking with you about, then we would anticipate being able to get it validated and closed, sometime in, toward the end of September. And, you know, everything, you know, there really wouldn't be any other, unless something really goes, haywire, would not necessarily have to come back before the board, other than just give you updates and that kind of thing. So what you have before you is a bond resolution, along with all the accompanying documents, which eventually offers the bonds for sale, for the purposes of refinancing. It's substantial savings, to the county with really life of the bonds. And in fact, we're actually gonna be cutting off 5 years of the, current term, so you can't beat that. There's built-in savings just in, interest costs there, so you realize it, so good deal all the way around.
The bond is down to 4.7 million now.
That's right, or somewhere in that ballpark, I don't know the exact.
That's not to exceed 4%.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
That's now on the motion.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any more questions concerning that motion? If not, all those in favor, there be nobody for a vote, say. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, great.
Thank you, Mr.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Gary redevelopment project, TIF. Mr. Gores, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Trainer. Yes, sir. All right, good to see everyone again. Seems like it was about a month ago, we were together talking about the project, and, at the time, you'll recall, the city had a few aldermen that weren't at the meeting, and then ultimately, had a gentleman that had to drop from the meeting, so we kinda got stymied there in our discussions and actions, but we've, had follow-up discussions with the city on the Guerin redevelopment project. I'm glad to be here in front of you tonight to ask the board's consideration to set a hearing for September 3rd, for the TIF plan. I'm here on behalf of Castle Properties. Mark Castleberry is proposing to redevelop the Guerin property into about a 90,000 square foot retail development. A nice new modern shopping center with an outlot out front. The project represents about a $20 million private investment. Presently, the county is receiving about $8,600 a year in tax revenue from the personal property, from Guerin. Once that project is completed, we think the county's tax increase is approximately $95,000. The school district presently is receiving about $10,000 a year. We think the school district taxes go to $111, which is about a $100,000 increase. Annually, we think the project will represent about $35 million in sales, which will generate pretty good sales tax rebate for the city. We think there'll be about 120 construction jobs and 150 to 200 permanent jobs once the project is built out. We are in a position to say that TJ Maxx and Aldi are both tenants that have signed letters of intent. They're non-binding, but they have strong indications.
TJ Maxx and who, I'm sorry?
Aldi.
Okay.
To be here, and there are good discussions with other retailers, that are interested. The city and county's ultimate approval of the TIF, assuming that, the TIF is approved, we expect that Mr. Castleberry would close on the acquisition of the Guerin site, early next month. After which time, I think y'all are familiar with Guerin's proposed relocation out to the park. Guerin will be full speed in designing that and getting that project built, so that about a year from now, Guerin would move into that new facility. Mr. Castleberry would begin demolition and construction of this project. The TIF plan before you tonight contemplates, bonds not to exceed $3 million. The city would take the lead, in issuing those bonds. Bonds would be used for site improvements, parking, water, sewer, stormwater detention. One thing that is of particular interest to the board, I think y'all probably follow what goes on across the street a little bit with stormwater detention. A lot of discussion about stormwater detention, and Mark Castleberry is willing to do 100-year stormwater detention if the city requires it. So there's ongoing discussions about that, but that'll be part of what is ultimately decided as part of this project. So what you have before you is a resolution of intent that would call for a hearing for the third. I assume with Labor Day on Monday, y'all push that meeting to Tuesday, so, that's basically where we are, and what's in front of you this evening.
Was there any other changes to the original document that we had?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what
Yes,
were
sir.
those changes?
Thank you. Mr. Trainer and I visited, the board of, aldermen, had asked that we ask the board to consider increasing its ad valorem tax participation from 50% to 75%, which is reflected in these documents. The city is agreeing to put 100% of its ad valorem tax in from what originally was 50%. And the cap on the TIF has gone down from our original conversations from 3.4 million to 3 million. So there has been some movement, from the other parties about trying to find some common ground to make this project move forward.
For those of us that aren't as savvy with what that means, technically, that number, the way I understand it, because there will not be bonds put out for anything that can't be covered. So that 75% is merely to make it look attractive on the bond market, is that correct?
No, sir. When we pledge, and I say we like I'm y'all, excuse me for that, but the amount that is pledged is different than what you use. So basically what this plan is calling for is the county to pledge the entire $95,000 increment to secure the debt. And at the time the project's built and we measure the tax revenues and we know what the taxes are, that the county would use 75% of that for the purposes of debt service. So there'd be 25% cushion that is not utilized for bond payments, if that's answering your question.
How long will that take place?
The city's sales tax, originally was proposed to be 100%. The city asked 100% pledge and use half. The city has asked that the sales tax be pledged, be reduced from 100% to 75%. And that would be accurate with what the attorney just said about, the attractiveness. You know, and everyone has a little bit of competing interest. At the end of the day, we're all trying to make a project that's win-win, but the more tax that's put in by the city and county, the better that is for my developer, for my client. But at the end of the day, the bondholders, the people that purchase these bonds, want as much security as possible. And so the higher the pledge, the more comfortable the bondholders are, more attractiveness it
Okay,
is.
that
Answer your question.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Yeah, but let me say this, and Sam just left, he knows all about this stuff, your bond lawyer, but, on the side of the pledge, in order to sell TIF bonds, you have to have a minimum level of coverage or overage, and 100% is, pledging 100% and using 50% means there's 2 to 1, there's 2 times the revenue to pay $1 of debt. And when you reduce it to 75%, which is what the city asked on the sales tax, there's still plenty of coverage for the bond market to be satisfied. 100's better, but 75 is adequate.
So they were going, originally, they were going to pledge 100, then use 50.
Yeah.
Now they want to pledge 75, and use half of that?
Yes, no, half of 100, not half.
Still half of
Yes,
100.
25%.
So what was the reasoning for asking the county to go back and up that from 50% to 75?
The city did go the other direction on their property tax, pledging 100 and using 100% of property tax. And it was just in an effort to try to get enough money on the table to get my client comfortable with going forward with the project.
But the city is going to have use of the sales tax, whereas the county is not. So I'm not understanding why the city is wanting to drop theirs and want us to up out.
Well,
I mean, the deal could have been done with us pledging the 50.
originally, when we were together a month ago, I think that's an accurate statement. As the deal has changed and evolved, it got us to where we are here tonight. And one of the city's concerns, and I don't, I do the TIF projections and the bond projections. I don't think anybody can tell us how much in sales are gonna move around from parts of the city to within this development. you know, we think there's gonna be growth, but is 100% of that 35 million in sales gonna be brand new sales to the city of Starkville? I don't think so. There's gonna be some, movement of sales, so the city's sales dollars are not 100% net monies.
So
And-
that's their reasoning for
Yes,
them to
sir.
drop their sales tax.
Yes, sir.
They are thinking that some of those sales tax will be cannibalized.
Some of them will.
From others.
Yes, sir.
I understand that, but I'm still not understanding why it's still on the county now, because their alarm is
Well,
to cover them, and it sort of seems like you mean.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm here on behalf of Mr. Castleberry to try to make this project work, and with the city's limitation, it cut the numbers to where we needed to be here to ask for your support.
I didn't see how many years of obligation that we have.
Not to
receive
15.
it, not to exceed 15
Yes,
years.
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
we still get the 25% of Avalon tax
Yes, sir.
and after 15 years, then we go back to getting the 100% of
Yes, sir.
Avalon tax.
That'd be accurate, yes, sir. You know, the law allows TIF bonds for 30 years. I've seen one 22-year TIF bond, a handful of 20s, most of them are done at 15 years.
I have another question about this proposal here.
Yes, sir.
It says here on page 5 of the plan, the TIF plan, on page 5, it says that, there will be created 150 to 200 new jobs.
Yes, sir.
And that's above what Garrett is already, the personnel that Garrett is already hiring, or there will be 150, 200 more jobs in addition to what they already have.
Well, the distinction here, Garen's jobs that are going to the industrial park are separate and apart from this. These will be the jobs created by the retailers, at the shopping center, separate and apart from Garen. So these are jobs that are not Garen's jobs, these are the retailers in our, retail. No, sir. And I think not long after we left being together, they already hired some more people over there in Garen in anticipation of their move and what's going on. But these are the retail jobs here identified in this plan.
And those jobs will be at full capacity over a period of, how long? 2-3 years,
I think the timing, assuming that everything goes according to the current schedule, and Garen moves a year from now, the demolition would occur, and it would take 10 to 12 months to build the new shopping center. So those jobs will start coming online about 2 years from now.
Is the total time 11 years? Total time, expected time to all take place within 11 years, 10 or 11 years?
No, I'm fairly optimistic with a year's worth of marketing that he's able to do between now and breaking ground, and knowing the other retailers that he's talking to, but we're not in a position to publicly announce.
ones that have.
And, you know, the two that have announced are almost half the shopping center. So I don't think it's gonna take, you know, a year or two for that thing to be filled up.
I think we're checking a lot of good boxes on that.
Yeah, I will make a statement here, the total amount of taxes that we're receiving on that property now is, $22,000. That's what I have here. That's including city, county,
Oh, that's city, county, and school.
city, county, and school tax.
That matches my record.
Yeah, so we're not getting much of anything out of the
That's right.
property now.
That's on my desk.
Bringing a retailer like this and changing that area is gonna increase the market in Starkville, and I could walk in both and feel. And the school's getting $100,000 more. You know, we all know budgets are tight there as well, so, and that helps them out, helps us out, helps the city start to fill the park up, that was the whole point of getting, you know, in with the link, so I mean, I see a lot of boxes getting checked off in the right direction, so I appreciate everything that you've done with this.
Appreciate your consideration.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah, Yes, sir, I think there's a resolution that would, statement of intent and sets the hearing for September 1st.
Got a motion by Supervisor Montgomery, is there a second? Second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote say aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. We'll see y'all on the 3rd.
Yes, sir. Look forward to it.
You better just cover the hearing.
Cover the hearing, please. All right, EMCC update. Trustee, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Brooks. Good evening, sir.
How y'all be?
Great, how about yourself?
All fair to middle and for an old man.
Good evening, good evening.
I'm sure we're here, kind of bring y'all up to speed, I'm sure.
Somebody got a phone outside.
I'm pretty sure y'all heard about a lot of the things going on out at EMCC and Mr. Brooks and I are here to entertain any questions y'all might have. I'm sure y'all heard that we walked out of the meeting, we did. I'm tired of the double standards. I'm tired of what's going on, and the only way you can do it, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, and I'm tired of what's going on. We don't have the votes to change it. That's why I came and talked to Miss Emily about y'all not increasing any funds to EMCC, because right now, we can't control the spending. Lowndes County did have a resolution passed to ask the state auditor to come in and do an audit. It's bad, guys. We've lost $10 million, and we can't find out who authorized it. And yeah, that's where we are. Since we started winning national championships in football, we've lost $10 million, and we can't get that money back. And the way I view it, we're there for education, training, and having a workforce, and we're not doing that. So we're changing things. We're having pretty good battles, and our board split right now 6-6 because where y'all invested $2 million in the university, Clay County $1 million, Lowndes County $10 million, ARC $10.8 million, the state of Mississippi $18 million. We're there to educate kids, and that's what I want to see done. And right now, we're at a standstill. And the reason we walked out of the meeting is because Mr. Spencer can speak for himself. He is the chairman of the budget committee, and if Mr. Brooks wanted to tell you what happened there, he can tell you what happened, and then I'll talk after that.
We had a budget meeting in May, and had to make some budget cuts, and some things were presented at the table there regarding certain department budgets at EMCC versus other schools, and how much higher we are than any other school, any other community college in the state. That information was called to question by the chairman of, who was the chairman of the board at that time. There was a heated discussion between he and an employee of the college, and then he threatened the employee, and at that point words were exchanged again. The employee left the room and had to resign also because of that. So he was also asked, Mr. Moore, the chairman at the time, was asked, do you have something that contradicts saying that this information is incorrect? He said, yes, I do. He was asked to present it to the rest of the committee, and he said that he didn't have to. So that's kind of what, where all of that got started with the budget information. We have a hard time getting financial statements from the college, basic financial statements. We get a revenue report, we get an expenditure report. I've asked for a balance sheet for over a year and a half, and have been told that they cannot produce one. by the CFO, that she can't produce it until the audit is complete. Which any basic accounting software that you use can produce a balance sheet at any time. And so we've asked for some different reports and things like that, and they just have not been very open with that. Now, I will say, since the new president has come in, that he's trying, and he's trying to get things in order the way that they're supposed to be, which that's where some of the budget cuts came in from the budget that was developed by the staff there, and that's what some of the other board members did not like, was the budget cuts that were coming.
Budget cuts where?
Football.
In athletics, if you look historically, our instruction budgets have gone down, and our athletic budgets have increased over the past 10 years by about $500,000. Our enrollment has decreased steadily over the past 10 years, and that's one thing about community colleges. When the economy is good, enrollment goes down in community colleges. When the economy is bad, community college enrollment goes up, and that's nationwide. They shared all sorts of articles and different things with us about that.
Is that Mayhew, Scuba? Where's the growth? I thought Mayhew was.
The Mayhew campus is where the growth is. We've got about 3,500 students at Mayhew compared to 1,000 at Scuba.
But Mayhew overall has grown.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was out there for 10 years, and we were mostly vocational back in those days. But when they started with academics, I mean, it grew, and it's still growing. That's when you look at the $42 million facility for job. And let me go back to some of the. Mr. Brooks is a lot more diplomatic than I am. What happened in the budget committee? The chairman of the board, Jimmy Moore, threatened to hit the administrative assistants in the nose because he didn't like what was said. And we did walk out of the board meeting because I asked Jimmy to resign because I don't participate, nor do I want to be in the room with somebody that brings violence to a board meeting. And that's what he did, and that's why I asked him to resign, and that's why we six got up and walked out. Lauderdale County needs to handle that. I don't think y'all would support me if I did something like that. But that's why we did what we did. You know, we've got to get control of the spending. I don't know how to do it, John.
So, access to these reports, these audits, I thought that was.
We do get an audit. We get an audit every year, and the audit is presented to the board. It's not necessarily that, and as with any auditor, they're going to come in and audit, and unless something jumps out at them right then, or they have direction of you need to start looking here, they aren't really going to find a whole lot. They're going to look at the overall picture. But now that
So you're not gonna particularly say that it's.
each transaction that goes through and see, you know, was this a proper maintenance expense, or was it a proper athletic expense or instruction expense? But I believe the Lowndes County Board of Supervisors passed their resolution, and that's what they're wanting, is a more in-depth audit. I don't think there's any embezzling or anything like that, maybe some misappropriation between departments of funds and things like that. Some departments on paper may only look like they're spending X amount of dollars, but in reality they're spending a lot more than that because it's getting shuffled somewhere else. And that's one of the things that was brought up in the budget meeting. The shell game that's been going on for years that no one was aware of was uncovered starting with when Dr. Huebner was there. It kind of started coming out at that point, and then since Dr. Alsobrooks has been there, it's been there, and the person who uncovered it is the one that got threatened by the chairman.
So over a period of time though, if you saw a $10 million loss and you're not getting annual audit reports that would show you that it is going down over time.
Right. Well,
I'm asking.
Yes.
Well,
Because
this,
whose eyes would have seen
right,
that?
well, this
Trustees or?
this is the first year that that the accounting firm has come in and said, y'all need to be careful. They have not done that before.
So we're not getting a forensic audit. I mean, the
No,
audit
no.
department's not coming in.
No.
Right.
They're supplying their numbers to an audit
The-
company, and the audit company does the audit based off what the school supplies
Right.
them, and they send it to the audit
Right.
department, the audit department
Right.
approves it. It's not a forensic audit where the
Right,
audit
no,
department comes
it's
in and looks
it's
at
a
it.
private auditing firm, and this year was the first year that he brought to attention to the board and said, you need to watch this. In the past, it's been different amounts, and yes, you know how it is, you go into your fund balance whenever things don't work out exactly, so you budget with X number of students, and then you don't get that many students, then you're gonna have to eat into your fund balance if you can't adjust your expenses somewhere, and that's what's been happening, I believe. Also, as a board, it is our responsibility to set a budget. Once the budget is set, we have no authority anymore. They never brought budget adjustments or amendments or anything back to us until we set the new budget, and then we did a final budget for that, and they just had it in the book. They didn't say, okay, well, we changed this budget, we've updated this one, and that's one thing that I've asked for going forward, is anytime there's a major change within the budget, to notify the board of what's going on, because our bylaws state that we set the budget, and as long as they stay within that budget, they can move money around however they need to.
So,
What's the plan of action to, this $10 million loss moving forward? Is there a plan of action, or?
Well, we're watching, everything down there. But my questions are still, I wanna know who authorized the spending. That's who I wanna know, the shell game that they've been playing. I wanna know who authorized it. I wanna know if it was the president that authorized it. I wanna know if it was the vice president I wanna know if it was the athletic director. I wanna know who authorized the expenditures. Because,
my question to that, Rudy, and
Yeah,
I'm asking,
sure.
As a trustee, every year, you not see the exact amount that the budget is.
no, sir. Well, we do, but,
I'm
okay, let's
asking.
just take the athletic budget. If the athletic budget's $500,000, but it spends 1.7, we have no control over that.
But
That's
it
the shell game.
It doesn't
John.
show,
As long as it doesn't go over the approved budget.
it doesn't show 1.7, it only shows, say, the 500,000, and then the 1.7, the rest of it has been spent out of somebody else's budget, so that it looks like their budget is spent.
So you're saying
That's from
then that looks like another line item.
in a different department's budget is being spent on this department, and the funds aren't being moved properly to that department. So you don't have an idea of how much was actually being spent. When Dr. Alsbrooks came in, he actually did an analysis and provided that to us in a board retreat that we had. And this goes back to previous administrations. We, of course, have not gotten our audit for fiscal year that ended 6/30. But from what we've been told, it was a much better year. When he came in, he froze basically all hiring and spending of unnecessary budgets and things like that. So our fund balance is, I believe, anticipated to increase some this year. I don't know an amount or anything like that. But the general fund balance was down to $710,000 as of 6/30 of 18
From,
in 2010.
so the audit may be the only thing that sets you free. The audit will catch everything.
Strictly if bad.
So, I mean, it sounds to me what you're saying, it's necessary to do an audit.
You
I
know?
guess even with an audit, though, from what I'm hearing, you need to change your bylaws. Because your bylaw says as long as the school doesn't blow the budget, they can move money, so.
And-
To me, even if you get an audit, and it'll show you where maybe there has been some money transferred from interdepartmental.
And we
They're
did.
still within what your bylaws.
Right, we did ask for that, and the board sets policy and adopts the budget. So we can do that, and I know the 6 board members, October Hall, Clay, and Lowndes are all in favor of that. And I believe that there would be some others that would be in favor of that also, that, could get a majority vote on that.
That sounds mean.
But we've gotta do something, if they're gonna move money, we gotta know about it.
Yeah, but I mean, change
Sure,
those bylaws.
you're exactly right.
To reflect that, I think, you know.
And,
You know, but here's the thing that bothers me. And, you know, an apology needs to be made to the people in our district. Because I have voted to increase tuition on the figures that were given to me. That won't happen again. Because if we had been given the numbers that we needed, and we knew where all the spending was, we wouldn't have to be going up on tuition. It's just like anything else, tuition is the easiest place to get money. And so, that won't happen again. And that bothers me.
So you're saying $11 million out of the bottom line?
10 million.
10 million out of savings.
Yes, ma'am.
Was used
Yes,
within.
ma'am. Yes,
10
ma'am.
years.
And we can't
So
get that
it
back.
wasn't actually what was budgeted. This,
No, ma'am.
this was,
That's-
this was the excess of, but this was in the trust.
That's correct.
This,
Now, our auxiliary funds and things like that, our fund balance is not to the point to where it affects accreditation or anything, because there's still a good fund balance in the auxiliary fund. And so accreditation looks at all fund balances, not just the general fund.
Question, auxiliary fund, how is it determined?
Auxiliary is your business type activities. It's like your enterprise fund, with the county. It, is your dorms, your meal plans, your bookstore, anything like that is revenue generating as far as a business type activity. And, so that fund balance is healthy. The workforce has a fund balance also that is healthy. So the university is not at stake, or anything like that. They have enough money in their funds they've saved up to operate the university for the next 5 years at a loss if they have to make sure that it is successful. So there's no worries there. It's the general fund that has the low fund balance, and that's one that needs to be a healthy balance. That being said, you know, now that it has been brought to light and Dr. Alston-Brooks has brought this information to us, things will change in the future going forward.
Let me ask, how much bond indebtedness does the MCC carry? Like, for instance, the union was built, and that's strictly the school is carrying that debt. So when does that type debt roll off?
I don't have a figure right off the top of my head of the total bonded indebtedness. I know we have the union at Golden Triangle, we have a union at Scuba. I believe the football stadium may have some bonds associated with it, or it may not.
No, it does not, it's paid for.
The union was a 20-year.
Pardon me, the stadium is paid for.
It probably, I don't know what the balance of them are
Because we send them $230,000 a year on that.
for that.
The union, right, that was built 3, 4, 5 years ago. Something like
Yes,
that.
quite a long way to go.
I will get you that information.
Okay.
We will, if you want to, we'll give that to Ms. Emma.
But in fairness to athletics, what I perceive, and I've been to some EMCC games because I went to school there.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of people from here, a lot of people from Doe, from Starkville, I mean, anyway. What I've seen, the attendance is up, I mean, very.
Our total gate receipts was $25,000 last year.
That's all that we received, because, yeah, there's a lot of people there, and there's a lot of students.
Gotcha.
But as far as people who pay to get in, $28,000 was the total gate receipts, for last year.
And we won a national championship. You know what we received for winning the national championship? $7,500. It cost us $300,000 to send them out there. And the AD said they had the money to pay for it, other than general fund, which is not true.
Where did that go? I mean, where did that come from? That came from
General fund. So, you know,
We need to know that. I'm just saying for all parties
that's,
involved.
you're exactly right, and I want one. You know, Lowndes County has already requested one, so I don't know that this board needs to join in on that, but we need an audit.
You know, in the spirit of total transparency, I think athletic is the biggest light that's shining, but,
Mhm.
you know, Lions Hill,
That's right, we've lost money there.
They've lost money.
That's right.
And then the student enrollment is down.
That's correct.
So it's, you know,
Sure.
several factors that's.
Absolutely.
And with Lion Hills, going back to what we said earlier, that wasn't brought to the board's attention until a couple of years ago. In fact, I believe right whenever I was appointed to the board is whenever y'all kind of realized that it wasn't making money. They do have a plan in place and project to break even this year and turn a profit in the next year or two. Last year, they were budgeted for about a $450,000 loss, and they lost less than $200,000 because they went in and tightened up on some things and really turned things around there, and it's on the right track.
And this fall, we're starting 5 new programs there that will really help with the tuition. Even though you can't show the revenue back to Lion Hills, but you can show that with the tuition that the students are there, you can show that, which will make Lion Hills in the black with the 5 new programs that we're starting there. So, and again, it was a shell game with that too, because when some certain people were there, it was in the black because they pulled out other budgets too. So, you know, it's just time for a good audit. And when Dr. Osgood got there, I told him you need to have an audit done. He didn't need to inherit this stuff, so we need an audit.
Sounds like to me you need a forensic audit from the audit department.
Well, yeah, I like I said, Lowndes County has asked the audit department to come in and do an audit. So, I just wanna know who, when, and where, and how.
And you know, the thing is, once this came to y'all's attention, you didn't just sit there and not do anything, so.
That's-
Thank you for bringing it, yes.
Well, you know, we'll keep y'all abreast. I don't think we need to come every month, but maybe every quarter, every 6 months, we need to bring y'all up to speed on what's going on.
Maybe like you say, maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
Sure.
But, you know, ultimately, it's the kids that go there.
We're for
What we
education.
create to help fuel.
That's right.
We're creating here in this county.
You're exactly right.
We want school to do well, we want
Absolutely.
the state to do well.
We want them all to do well.
All.
Having it start there. Start there.
Rob, what about, as far as us joining in on the audit, do we need to, you could, motion, pass a resolution to join in on Lowndes audit?
And write a letter requesting one like Lowndes County did. I think it would enhance.
When you've got different opinions
Sure.
on both sides of this, at the end of the day, the truth is so.
Absolutely.
So let's do that, I'll make that motion.
I'll say.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let me know by the clerk voting sign. Motion passed unanimously.
Thank y'all very
And
much.
here's the kicker, you got an even number of board members. And,
Oh.
What do you do about that?
and now, it's not a problem until something like
That's
that.
right.
Where is the tiebreaker even? That would be the.
Look.
If it's tied, then it's dead until it's brought up again.
All right.
So
So
there's no tiebreaker.
no,
Until somebody changes their
that may be
mind.
something that needs to be considered just when
Sure.
you're in
And
a
that would take
deadline
legislation.
for
Yep.
anything.
Those back several years ago, they have a 28-member board. elected came in and said reduce it to 12, replaced every board member down there because it was so bad. And you know, now we got a 12-member board. You know, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. The 6 on the north want education, the 6 on the south want football. That breaks it down as simple as I can break it.
Let me ask a question. Could Schooler and Mayhew become two different
No,
districts?
we tried that. When I was out there for 10 years, John, we tried everything under the sun. You can't do it. We can't have dorms at Mayhew. You gotta have them on the mother campus.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, that battle's been going on since 1974.
Will football be an auxiliary budget? Which
It comes out of
means
general
that
fund.
It's a general fund, but
Yes.
what about Lime Hill?
It is combination of both. It's mainly auxiliary, and then the instruction and everything comes out of general fund.
Yeah, I was thinking football was auxiliary type budget, that they generate their own funds. And
Right. It is one of the ones that falls completely under the general fund.
We certainly appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Moving along to the next item on the agenda, Mount Olive Road request recovery, Mr. Page. Mr. Page here. Seeing that he's not here. Vehicle damage, Chapel Hill Road, Ms. Brent. Good evening, ma'am.
September of 2018, Chapel Hill was being paved. They did not close the road. I went down the road, me with several other people, and I have vehicle damage that nobody will touch to fix. I have some pictures here. Emily has seen them. I've been fighting with Site Masters, who was the contractor's insurance company. They want to pay me $3,000. I can't trade the vehicle. I can't get it fixed because it has concrete under the undercarriage. Like I said, you can see in my pictures here, which are black and white, it's all over there. It's on the roof. It's what you can't really see it on the tailgate.
Soil cement?
Is that soil cement? It was like I went into an atomic bomb. I was going down Chapel Hill, went into like a sand pit.
Did they have flame?
No, they had nobody. They had a road work sign. Anybody that you ask what road work means, what does it tell you to do? Slow down. He did not have the road closed. He did not have other than, and the road signs were actually not where you could really see them. They were in the pasture of Rodney Faber area. There at the end of Chapel Hill going to Oak Crawford Road. I have fought with them. Like I said, right now I still have concrete on my truck. The Ford place won't touch it. I've asked for an adjuster to come back to talk to the Ford to be out there when they try to look at the undercarriage to see what's wrong. Tell me it costs money. They won't send me anybody. They've offered me about $3,000. I need somebody to, I can't trade it. I can't do anything.
Now that Chapel Hill is a road that was under contractual agreement, so that was not the county actually paying.
Well, I got that, but
That's Chapel Hill, so, Rob, I don't know whether we would send some type of correspondence to Site Master.
I could write a letter and ask them to get this.
well, I'll tell you what he told somebody, that he didn't need to pay for it because of my ignorance of going down the road being worked on. So that tells me pretty much, he said, screw you. Bottom line.
Have you talked to an attorney?
Yeah. Nobody around here wants to touch it because it's with the board. I'm just being real honest. Basically, I'm screwed and this ain't my fault. If I'd have gone down the road that said road closed, then dumb me. This is whoever's in charge.
Are you in the truck tonight?
I'll be glad to let you go out and look. I'll be glad to let you look at it.
See, what happened is, I thought she went down with it wet, but she went down with it dry.
And
And
then-
then when she tried to wash it off, it turned to concrete.
Well, yeah, because I couldn't see. I'm telling y'all, it looked like the picture of the atomic bomb going off.
Yeah.
You can ask, both the sheriff's department has seen it, Rodney Favor went down it. Like I said, I've got a list of people who've gone down it, and, I think I was the worst because I went down like at 6:50 in the morning and they had just put it down. But there was, I'm telling you, you really don't probably wanna use them again. They left the water truck overturned all day. They didn't ever once tell us the road was, needed to be closed. It only said road work, and the signs were not facing where you could see them they were in Rodney Favor's pasture mostly. So I've been fighting with their insurance for a year. I can't see out my right, passenger window. So I've had to, I paid Benny $400 to try to clean it. Y'all know if Benny can't clean it, it can't be cleaned. Bottom line, I mean, y'all know. If Benny can't do it, it can't be done. The floor place tried to clean some of it. He was like, no. You know, it's on the top, it's on my tailgate, it's in my bed, it's on my undercarriage, it's on my windshield, on the side mirrors. It's probably down in my, like where the windows go up and down. My four-wheel drive doesn't always shift down.
We know what soil cement is gonna do, time the water hit it.
That's right. And as the Ford place says, there's places that they can't see, that's no telling what it's gonna do. And they wouldn't touch it without an adjuster, and to come back, and he has pretty much said, nope, we're not doing it.
So what was your letter say?
You gotta fight it.
Oh, I'm fighting, but I mean, you know, ultimately,
You there say 3, you're saying.
I'm probably selling a new truck because unless,
So what year?
I'm probably conflicted, because if she
Can you,
said
can you point her to somebody?
I'm asking y'all because don't you have insurance or a bond for these people? I need help. I mean,
They
like,
have a bond.
that one, but I mean, ultimately, are y'all not responsible?
No, we can call them.
from a legal sense, we hired them to do a job, they were bonded to do it. And what's supposed to happen is, whenever they do something, you're supposed to be able to deal with their insurance. It sounds like what they've done is they've offered you something that's not satisfactory.
Well, I mean, you look at my truck and you tell me if you would take it. I mean, I guarantee there's not somebody on this, sitting in this room that would take $3,000. Yeah, no, I'll be glad for, I mean, like I said, I went to the sheriff's department, they all went, oh my God. I mean, I've had, other than their insurance, Progressive, who is not my insurance, said we would have totaled it the very first time we looked at it.
Have you discussed this with your insurance carrier?
Yep.
Alright, what did your insurance
They
carrier
really
say?
want me to go through them.
Well, just because they want you to do
Well, I
something,
understand that, but again, they don't want to send an adjuster back to look at it again. They wanna just take care of the cosmetic. It's in the engine, you saw where the engine is.
I would suggest trying to find another attorney that's interested, but also talk to them about the potential of a bad faith claim.
Okay,
That means that your insurance carrier has there's a reason that you have insurance.
Yeah.
Your insurance should stand in for you and help you figure some of this out. And if they're not, then you have a bad faith claim against them.
okay.
And your carrier might be willing to go sue them to do it. It'd be just like somebody run into you. Just ask somebody that, here's the problem, this board honestly doesn't have the ability to force them to do much of anything other than not use them again. And that's potential, if you ask what I would write, I would say, we appreciate you taking care of this and looking at this in a serious manner. Now, whether or not that works, your guess may be as good as
Yeah,
mine.
I'm pretty much screwed in bottom line.
I wouldn't say that. I would work toward this in another, I would talk to your insurance carrier and see if you could get them involved. It's
Maybe,
usually the.
maybe he can give you proper legal words to use.
Yeah. Come by the next day or so, we'll talk some.
Said, 'cause there's not one of them that would would settle for $3,000, I promise you.
You have a nice truck. We understand.
Nice rods, 3,000, I can't replace it, cause I bought you, you know, comps for what it would cost to replace it.
That's great, we certainly appreciate you coming. Have a good evening. Judge Morgan, health insurance. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, good evening. Mr. President, fellow members of the board, County Administrator, Ms. Garrett, I appreciate the opportunity to be here this afternoon. It's an honor to sit before y'all. First time in 44 years I've ever sat before you. I tell you what, this is quite interesting to see what all of you do. I'm gonna make mine short this afternoon. What I've done, I've decided to utilize my provisions of MCA section 2511.127.6. My understanding of that law is that I am not actually retiring from office, but merely utilizing my retirement papers as part of my compensation and remaining in office. And I will continue to be entitled to all of the benefits provided to me as an elected position, including office expense allowance, mileage, travel expense, and health insurance as authorized provided by my under section 2511.127. What it is I'm gonna be drawing 25% of my salary and take my retirement compensation. And I've checked into it over the years and put it off. And it's a no-brainer for me. I'll be making more money. The county will be saving 75% of my salary. The whole thing in a nutshell that I'm here for this afternoon is for my insurance to be primary, as it was in the beginning. And that's the whole reason I'm here today, and I'm ready before y'all to make decisions and see whatever. And,
Judge Boyd, we voted to do insurance for retired elected officials, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we had already approved that, this board did.
It is primary?
Because I know that it was for anybody, we had already.
Not for primary. We've approved for the board of supervisors to make the premium payment of the insurance. But he is a retiree and he is a retiree first. And on the retiree insurance, Medicare is primary. And that's the only way it can be unless you change the retirement policy for all retirees.
What?
And not make Medicare be their primary. That's the only way. I've checked with attorneys. I think that's an exception without doing it for everybody.
Well, it states in there that, an elected official is treated different.
Because elected official is the main one that this applies to. I mean, it's the retirement policy, you're a retiree first.
Part of the problem you've got is, look, this board can, let me first say, this board can do whatever it wants to do. But what Miss Emily is saying is if we do this, if we determine that this is something we wanna do, we won't be, and I don't think that Judge Boykin is asking for him to be done differently. But to Miss Emily's point is if we do this for a retiree, you've got to do it for all retirees. That's her position.
If they're elected or not.
I'm retired. Okay, let me ask you this. We've got other people that doing the same thing I'm doing. And we've got constables that's doing that. Their insurance is primary. Now, I don't know what, I don't know, it seems to me like if there's a primary, unless I'm not,
They don't qualify for Medicaid is what you're saying, right?
Or whatever, but I
This
still,
whole thing was
the good Lord let
done.
me live this long, and I don't have no control of it, and I'm proud of it, but
They're not old enough for it.
I think the difference, now, there is the part that makes Judge Boykin a little different, and this is the part I'm having a hard time getting my head wrapped around. You gotta keep in mind, he is a veteran, he has VA benefits, which is separate from all this, I understand. But he does have the Veterans Association that covers some of his expenses. I looked into originally seeing if a veteran could be treated differently in this retirement system. Now, the problem with that is, when you make a policy change and you allow for a retiree to have for insurance to be used as primary, keep in mind, the issue is that our insurance is being treated as secondary because of Medicaid. Does that make sense?
So he gets Medicaid, the rub is.
He has three different.
Medicaid is number one, we're two or three.
We're probably number two because there are benefits that he has outside of this that are through VA. So when I originally looked at this, I thought there was the potential for him to be treated differently just because of the VA benefits and that dynamic that was there. Because he's not costing, phrase this, I don't know how else to say it. He doesn't cost us as much. When he goes to the VA pays for those services. In this situation though, I don't know how you get around a complete policy change from the initial fact that he is a retiree. This is very confusing, and it took me forever today to get my head wrapped around it. But the fact that he is retired kicks in the Medicaid. If some of these other people, I don't want to say anybody's name, but if some of these other people were to the age that they could be qualified for Medicaid, they would be treated the same way. If they ever get there, they would be supposedly treated in that same way. So we've got to just figure out whatever it is that we want to do to, I mean, if this is a policy that this board wants to undertake, that's a question for this board.
I do use VA stuff. I'm proud of it. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I walked, Dave's rice field doing, I'm proud of it. A lot of these young people come before me in court, they need to go right. They'll know how to treat people, they'll know what people's all about. I have no argument there. The argument I'm having is changing that from primary to secondary. When I was already using VA a lot, saving the insurance company every bit, as I am saving the county 75% of my salary. So I've looked at it, and I've worked for this county for a long time. I've given a lot of my time. That the citizens out here, we wanted the other judges up there, the clerks and the citizens like y'all county. We thank each and every one of you supervisors for everything that y'all do for justice court. To make it second to none in the state of Mississippi. I'm on many boards continuously trying to help the people in Oktobah County have a better court. You've sat in my court many times. I invite any of you to sit in my court and see what goes on with justice.
Best of the state.
And I think you'll be surprised if what a good court system we have, but it takes a lot of work.
One of the answers.
So I'm not trying to build up the justice court, I'm just telling you the truth, and I won't take up much of your time.
Let me ask you I have a statement that you would, Attorney Robert. Judge Watkins presented, an opinion, Attorney General's opinion, a 2-page Attorney General's opinion, and come from, James Sherrod office. On the second page, the last paragraph and the last sentence, I think that's a sentence that needs some clarification. It says the payment of health insurance premium by the county on behalf of the individual is not used in the calculation of the 25% compensation limitation
contained in section 25. So health insurance is not used in that 25%.
It is
Yeah,
not,
no, it's not.
it is not.
Right.
It is not. That is correct.
Right.
The issue is who's primary.
Yeah.
So there's no way around when you
So
retire.
if it's not used, then
Our
it stays the
insurance was
same.
set up for people that was retirement age that could get Medicaid. That's the right way it was originally set up. What we ran into, and what appears to got Judge Morgan upset is he made the comment, well, one body don't have to pay it, but I do. Now we're getting people that's under 65 that are retiring, that's not eligible for Medicare. And they're having to pay their full premium, but there's one constable that's under age 65. And since y'all voted that y'all would pay their premiums for them, his premiums different. We're paying differently for him than we are for him. He is required by the policy, since he's 65, to have the Medicare and we're as a supplement.
I understand that, Ms. Derrick, but I've been drawing out 76, I've been drawing it for about 12 years.
I know.
And it's been primary, so that's got, I don't know where the 65.
It's when you're retired, it made the difference. And once you became retired, it made the
There's a
difference.
statute, don't say I'm retired, I've just changed my
But
pay.
I know what you're saying, but you are
And I never
retired.
missed 1 minute of work,
You
so I
are,
didn't have to take off.
you are retired, you have to
Okay.
regulate.
Before you, let me ask this, what, and I'm just trying to get clear here. A retiree of Octavia County, whether they are if they are 65, doesn't have any significance of whether you're elected official or not, because that's kind of what he read was elected officials and regular retirees. That's no different.
Wait a
The
minute,
law
that's
doesn't.
not what the Attorney General said.
No.
I would be curious to know, and this is, in the discussion of all this, what the cost difference, the issue for us generically is gonna be what the cost difference would be. And I think that would be something that this board could take into accountability in what we're talking about here. And if we're talking a difference of, $50, obviously I think we know what we'd all do. If we're talking a difference of $50,000, I think we all know what we probably could do. So I think that would be significant for this board to know.
Well, we get that figured out, and you research the
I'll
legal
find
part
out.
of it, and have this Emily bring the,
There is.
and the policy part of it back to the board, and have this Emily supply the numbers for us. And we'll take this under advisement and do some more research so we can come up with a.
If you're gonna do it, you've got to do it for
And that's,
That'd be
if we
right.
don't bring all, that means bring all
You're
retired
for everybody.
employees back
everybody.
into the.
And there's one that we've got a big deal on every year.
Yeah.
That person is fixing to turn 65 and we're gonna lose some of that, having to pay all that. And make this change, we're gonna have to continue to pay it.
But I'm still confused about the elected
What kind of help
officials.
he gives us now, he gives a certain age, we don't need to really go by that, because we don't know which one was made or.
Well, this mentions about elected officials,
Yeah.
and Rob, can you research that
Yes,
part
sir.
of it, just.
I will.
Because.
That's right, that's right.
What we're talking about for Emily's dynamic is
I love those.
Thank you.
that our insurance policy, just our policy, doesn't treat retirees differently. That's the issue, not necessarily what the law is saying, it's what our insurance policy is.
Well, look, I'm on no, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
I appreciate the work.
I would like for you to get a clarification on what that really means when it say that health insurance is not included in the 25%, calculation. But now, let me finish now, because it not only say health insurance, but it says travel reimbursements. It says all of that is not included in the 25%.
The 25% is only based on.
So
your average 4-year amount. All that does not enter into.
Right, so what I'm saying then, if all of that is not included, then it might mean that all of that is not affected. And that's what we need to know.
Agreed.
Whether or not that mean that, whether or not that is affected in any way.
But keep in mind, the bigger umbrella for us is how our policy currently reads. In other words, just because the state of Mississippi says you can do X, Y, Z,
Right.
doesn't mean that our insurance policy.
Right.
We can't change.
We can change.
We can change it.
We can.
Correct. What we gotta do is go back and do a whole policy change, and right now, unfortunately, it doesn't cover exactly what Judge Morgan is, but we could do that. It would just take more than.
Change what we're insuring.
Correct.
What
but-
they're insuring.
Correct, but what y'all need to know, the number that y'all need to know is, how is that gonna affect the overall cost period for everybody?
She was talking about that too.
Can I talk to just for one person? We've got, everybody's got to eat. And it might be very well time, we need to get, a legal person here that's familiar with healthcare benefits and background policy.
Which is something we've been
What
talking
y'all
about.
want me to do, because we're running into the same thing with the election commission. We've got to change the policy for that.
There's a lot of bells and whistles with this that's really.
But I'm not smart enough to tell y'all how you can change.
Well, I was just wondering if it allows special privileges for elected officials, that's where I was.
No, y'all, they know no special interest.
Mr. Word, come on around.
Sir. Sheriff's Department applied for and was awarded, two separate grants, both are from Office of Highway Safety. Both are in overtime only. It's $15,000 to continue the occupant protection grant, and $15,000 to get back into the, alcohol enforcement grant, the DUI enforcement. And we're asking for approval today.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor
Congratulations.
Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote. Motion passed unanimously.
Y'all, I wanna point out that Officer Word has been applying for these grants, and he's been the one that's been leading this. So I just wanted to be, this board to be aware of all what he's been doing to try to get money for us.
Well, that's fantastic. Overtime, to fund your overtime and the support programs too. That's fantastic.
Ms. Nicholson, you have a chance to go through?
I've got two things. On the first thing, I just need a board order to approve and accept my new contract with energetics that will go into effect October the 1st, and the rate of that is $648.99.
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery.
I'll second it, but the hourly rate, how many hours?
I usually, just when we have problems or if we get new equipment, they'll come in here. I have so many certain hours that I can use them.
I mean, our systems.
I've never gone over my hours that they give in that contract. Yeah.
Any more discussion?
The sixth.
Hold on. All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote. Motion passed unanimously.
The second thing that I need is I need to get a board order so that we can close out the real and personal property assessment rolls, and we didn't have any appeals that come in from that.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote. Motion passed unanimously.
And that's all I have.
We're gonna, insert these, additional items on the agenda. We'll deal with those right now. First item is, Mr. Clyde Pritchard, Longview Road subcontract, and Silver Ridge contract. Good evening, sir.
Appreciate y'all working me in tonight. Just a couple items for you. A way of information, we issued notice to proceed on Longview Road today. There's 4 concurrence for state aid contracts. The contract this time started today. And to that point, I have subcontracts, for triangle maintenance service, Towns and Stone and J.C. Chief that have been working on that project. I need to get these
subcontracts authorized by the board.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passes.
Supervisor Trainer, there's like 6 copies of each of these, I can get them tomorrow or something.
So clear that up for everybody here, 360 days from today.
From today is the contract time.
From today, Longview Road will be done.
You should see construction signs go up within a week. Start work. Also, I previously sent you a bid tabulation on our BRF project on Silver Ridge Road. That was within the amount of grant funding that we requested. So I would need a board order authorizing the award of that contract.
Did we need to do anything different since we didn't advertise or whatever we didn't do right?
No, we fixed that last time, all we did was not go on or that's good.
Okay, just making sure.
No, we ain't gotta do anything different.
Alright.
Got a motion?
Yeah,
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign.
Who got the contract?
Motion passes unanimously.
No, because I voted against last time because we didn't follow proper procedure, so I have to vote.
What did we not follow proper procedure on?
Motion
We didn't
passes
change-
4-1.
What did we, I wanna ask, what did we not follow proper procedure on, Ms. Eddie?
We did not do a board order beforehand to advertise. And we corrected that by doing enough pro-top order, which
It passed, I just voted no, that's all.
to do something that was.
We
no
didn't-
big deal.
We didn't know
I
we
just
didn't have an
voted
order.
no. I just voted no.
We
just move on. We just move on. That's it.
And then we
It's
get it
4-1.
before we open bid. No big deal.
Yeah, let's move on.
I didn't get that.
Okay.
I didn't get that order. Who got it?
There's a motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery, and it was approved 4-1 to move forward on Silver Ridge.
I need just a board order authorizing it.
With what contractor?
NL Carson, in the amount of $324,892.94. And then by way of information, we will accept bids on August 27th, 10 o'clock, for the BRF project on Longview Edison. We will accept bids on September 19th for both the bridges on Summer Creek Road. We combine those two BRFs into one. We will accept bids for repair on Courthouse Road on September the 11th at 10 o'clock. So we've got 3 more projects bidding within the next few days. We have a first and final change order for our work that we did on Gray Springs Road, Louisville Sturgis Road, and White Oak Lane, those repairs, in the amount of $3,021.09 as an add. That was a little bit of extra base repair, leveling, and a tie-in to some PennDOT equipment. So, please, board, I request that you authorize this change order. That will be the Murphy paving, Frederick construction.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery, discussion.
I get a copy of this, so I
Then the last thing I have for you.
All those in favor, let me know by the proper vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
The last thing I had for you tonight is previously you had asked that we begin work on estimate for the county lake dam. We're very near to a number for that. We communicated with DEQ about what kind of specifications they was gonna require to build back to. Spillways, primary outgoing, so we're close to a number. I believe Ms. Emily is trying to set a meeting for the 22nd later this week, and we should be very close to the number by then.
Yeah, Clyde, do we have any idea what kind of money we're talking about and the possibility of trying to get a grant of some sort?
That's what we're circling around now. And
Possibilities?
the way MDEQ is gonna treat this is not as a repair, it's basically going to be a new dam constructed that's gonna have to be brought up to the high hazard dam criteria, which is gonna be longer bridge, more spillway, slopes, et cetera. So that's
And we're designing for their 100-year, 24-hour storm, which is something on the order of 40+ inches in 24 hours, and the drainage area is 800 and something acres now. So it's a major modification.
So we're talking about significant.
We're talking about major modifications to the dam.
Can you back up, and anybody that wasn't in the pre-construction Longview meeting, could you just kind of tell them what's fixing to start happening on the road, other than the signs going up, trees being cleared, wide, and culverts, those kind of things?
Yeah, what we're doing now is preventing the residents out there, you probably noticed that we're staking right away. Those are the clear limits for the timber to come out. They'll come in, they'll start clearing. We'll probably start installing some of the side drain and cross drain culverts. We'll get up erosion control, and that type of stuff. We'll get everybody where they can get in and out of the driveways, and then somewhere in there, weather's gonna catch us, and we'll probably actually be paving in the spring when the weather gets better, when we'll do the soil cement and the paving work.
When you announce how many inches the base will be of soil cement, there'll be no question.
This will have a 10-inch soil cement base and a 6-inch.
I just wanna know, is there a possibility of having any, soil stabilization grant funding? It seems like that's where normally some money will be coming from, soil stabilization, grant. And that might be a way for you to, search for some funding with that.
It would have to be to some specific project that we would have to identify how many beneficiaries they were that to apply for the grant. I don't know of any grant sources to do that right now. So that's all I have for you tonight.
What about, resurfacing? Have you did an amendment
Oh,
for the?
County Lake Road.
And
Thompson. I initially sent you guys an email, said start on the 19th, or the week of the 19th. We talked to them today, we think J.C. Cheek will move in probably on County Lake Road on Wednesday. And then Morton Construction will be right in behind them to do soil cement. They'll be right off County Lake on the top.
This coming week.
So how long, once they have is, how long do you think couple, 3 days, a week?
Probably a couple days, couple to 3 to
You said they would probably finish the week.
Yeah.
County Road.
Right, and then move to you, and you're about a mile and a half, so I'm saying a day and a half, something like that. But they're supposed to be in either one.
Mr. Chris, while you're at it, could you bring us up to date on the, William Road Bridge? On that bridge that you went to?
I made recommendations to the board in the last meeting to replace it with 2 arch pipes, and I believe the board approved it.
Yeah, I was just wondering where we at now.
We passed that on to Mr. Baggett, and I can't answer that question.
Well, I guess that's what I want to know, that you pass it on to Mr. Baggett, and is Mr. Baggett gonna take on the responsibility of getting that job completed?
I can't, again, we passed the pipe side and the order on to him, and I can't answer that question, I don't know what his schedule is.
But you do know that you're not gonna have that responsibility, that will probably be Mr. Baggett's responsibility.
That is Mr. Baggett's responsibility.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Baggett, on the County Lake Road, Thompson Road, talking about the chip seal, are you comfortable? He's talking about midweek, him to the end of the week, and then possibly next week on Thompson. Are you okay with the crews, work crews?
Yeah,
I've
spoken with David.
I believe you relayed to David that you had the materials already stockpiled, and you were ready when we were ready.
That's what I need to do.
All right, that's all I need.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. You have a good evening. Ms. Christian. Good evening, Ms. Christian. Good evening, Ms. Christian Campanella.
Good evening, how are y'all?
Document you will be executed.
So I just have a little bit to get for the board president to sign, since we saw that the public assistance request. This is just an agreement saying that I'm the primary agent. You have to have this paperwork signed to get the money. And this will be for Mascara.
Do you need a form? Do you need any kind of order passed on our end to?
I do, just saying that, you can, I've got some blank copies of that.
Make it part of our order.
Is that gonna have the order to submit with it?
That's all.
These are federal and state requirements.
I need a motion making her the primary on our minutes.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions on the motion? All those in favor, let me know by their vote. Motion passed unanimously.
Looks like we made it some money back quicker than we thought. A lot of our projects are less than $125,000, so they're considered small projects. So we'll be able to turn some money quicker than we expected.
So the proper language would be that you are the primary FEMA agent.
I think it says primary applicant agent.
For FEMA and for.
It's on one of those applications. But I need those originals back.
While we at it, have you done any research on soil stabilization grants?
There is some hazard mitigation, following storms, which is hazard mitigation money that opens up. There could be some projects, but I doubt it's gonna touch the amount that we would need for county lake road.
Yeah, well, every little bit helps though. I know you will get all of what you need, but if you can get some, then we will have that go along with getting the project completed.
Yeah, I think that's what we're looking at for that project behind the jail. Mitigating that project, that's what we're putting that under, is hazard mitigation. But I've never seen, hazard mitigation money statewide has been like $2 million. So that's every county in the state can apply for that. So it's gonna cost more for the map for county lake, so. And it has to be a completed project, so we couldn't get $20,000 and the project still ain't completed. It would have to be a total project.
You can't just say, hey, I put
So what is-
20,000
I don't know what the
in a
number is.
$1 million project.
Yeah,
It has to be.
it would be a total complete project.
They will put their
It could
money
be-
in as long as we can finish.
Yeah.
It could be part of the total plan
It would be a
though.
complete project.
Yeah, part of the total plan.
Yeah.
We do get funds that are not completed, but funds.
We're gonna do a non-member meeting. That's that, smoke detector piece. You asked
Okay,
for.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Campanella.
Thank y'all.
All right. Moving along to the next item, we got agreement, the Metro Clay. Mr. Clay, you come on forward.
We're gonna have to go into executive session on this one.
All right. Do we have a motion?
For personnel matter.
We have a motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, that we go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. Any questions? Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let me know by the vote goes aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 3-2. Trainer, no. Trainer, no. All right. Any,
Let me ask you a question about, the one, there's one with the jail, with the effective date. Could that effective date be August the 8th, or should that be after? Should be after this board meeting?
No, not necessarily.
It's always on the board, that's it.
Not on the sheriff's budget. On the other ones they do, but the sheriff, go ahead and, yes. Now they can veto it and they can let him go.
I don't know, I love the sheriff's department, but I don't know. I think it's all up to the after we actually approve it, after we actually approve it.
What's been said before in the past, if the board has put the money in the sheriff's budget, and the sheriff has authority.
Still think that they could recommend, but they can't approve. So then it should be, the effective date should be after the.
After the board has
After the board.
Okay.
Anything else to hear? Next item.
Yes, my picture, Richard Engineering presented us with a $1,050 bill for where, we had talked to them about presenting the bridge over in Pleasant Acres and the bridge over at the school for that bridge money that was returned. And he was gonna present us to it, and then, found out that the city had got emergency bridge repair money for the one on the school campus. He's presented us with a bill for $1,050 for work he said he did before.
And they're still working on 100+ acres, it looks like that we're gonna have to, get easements possibly in water and road. They're still working on plans.
So I need an order to approve a payment for that, and if y'all want me to pay it.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there questions on the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote saying. Motion passes then.
Got a request from Mrs. Richards for some more engineering payment for the Silver Ridge Bridge project. That's $7,436.76. Need an order to pay that.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote saying. Motion passes then. Motion passed forward.
The next thing that I was gonna need to ask is we're gonna have our, budget hearing on Friday the 13th. At 9 a.m. Do y'all want to make that the regular recess meeting for the month, or do y'all want to just do the budget stuff that day, then have a recess meeting another day?
I say kill it all in one shot, we can, unless it's something we can, well, we can set another one if we have to, after that, like,
Okay.
set another meeting after that,
But we will go ahead and schedule that as a regular.
September 13th.
Yes, sir, on Friday.
All right, any county business, Supervisor Miller, you got anything?
I do, there's a culvert that is collapsed at Faith Baptist Church, that's 1804 South Montgomery. That's right as you come into the metal culvert. It's right as you come in out of the city limits, it's the church on the left. I'd like to get a bid forward order to replace that metal culvert on that driveway we can replace.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote saying. Motion passes unanimously. Anything else, Supervisor?
That's all for me, thank you.
Supervisor, Wheaton, you have anything?
There is let me go around, let me come back.
Okay. Supervisor Howard, you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Supervisor Montgomery, you have anything? I don't have anything, so we're back at you, Mr. Supervisor.
Everybody calls, nobody raised.
Oh. Well, Supervisor Williams, got a motion by Supervisor Williams to set the budget hearing for the 13th. You already got it?
We did, but I've already, that was
He was
just
saying we got it for the
making
recess
the
meeting.
recess meeting, I've already got the order.
Oh, I already got that order. We already got that order.
Okay, yeah, I got something.
Go ahead, Supervisor.
The Hillbrook subdivision, when you come out of the Hillbrook subdivision, the view is obstructed both to the left and to the right. The left is a curve, so people cannot see around the curve, and to the right, which would be the north, to the north is a bunch of trees that are obstructed the view to the north. So they're asking that we remove those trees so they can be able to see when they come out of the Hillbrook community. So it's gonna be my motion that we, the board allow, Mr. Baggett to remove necessary trees to be able to clear up the view coming out of Hillbrook community. It is a dangerous situation because I've looked at it myself, I've driven that situation, I've tried to pull out, I can't see because of the curve to the left and the trees to the left and the curve to the right. Most of them are on the easement. I think we just took those off the easement. And the easement does consist of the back of the back of the ditch. So it's all on the back of the ditch.
I was gonna say, just in case he has to get off the right of way, probably needs to get a right of entry agreement signed, just in case. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's Mr. McCord too. He owns all of that. So we got a motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we authorize this action. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let me know by the proper motion. Motion passed. Anything else come for the vote? Mr. Ross?
I just wanna let y'all know that, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, if you're looking for, I'm getting a small procedure done for kidney stone. Let's leave it at that. So I'll be out of commission for a couple of days. God has a really
Be in my prayers
bad
also.
sense of humor. But, that's all I've got. And I appreciate the papers.
Most move to adjourn.
All right, motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Any questions concerning to the 37th?
Friday 13th, right?
No, we got adjourned to the first meeting in September
Right.
3rd.
To the
Oh,
second,
okay.
to the second.
The third.
Good deal.
Oh, it's third, yeah, third.
Yeah, the second's a holiday.
Okay.
All those in favor, let me know by the proper motion.